Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about playing the guitar with a pick versus no pick, just your fingers. Which one's better? Which one should you learn? Well, this video will help you make your decision. You notice that they have very different sounds, so which is better? In my opinion, there is no better sound. They are just two distinct flavors that you can use in your arsenal, and I recommend that you learn both. In order to hold a guitar pick, there's so many different ways. What I recommend is just finding something that's comfortable for you to grip. So usually how I grip my pick is like this. So as you can see, I put my thumb like this, and I put my index finger like this. I don't know if you can see that. It's pointing straight down, and my index finger is just using the support. And when you play with the pick, again, we're gonna go back to our E minor, and remember that this guitar and this guitar baby over here are set to half step down, so make sure you tune your guitar to that setting if you want to play along. The last exercise we did, I told you to play 10,000 times with your finger like this. And then the next exercise was to just strum. Right? Just get that pattern. It's consistent. Right? It's the same thing with the guitar pick, okay? So you just want to get used to applying that. So what is a guitar pick? Well, a guitar pick is essentially a flat piece of plastic shaped in a triangle meant to simulate your fingernails. You notice that when you use your fingernails, you get that harsh, bright sound. Whereas if you use the meat part of your finger, it sounds a lot muddier and softer, right? So the guitar pick finger is just meant to simulate that fingernail sound applied on the strings. That's it. So if I'm playing with my finger, index finger, fingernail, it sounds like that. When I use the pick, same kind of sound, but you notice it's a lot brighter, it's a lot sharper. It has a lot more attack. So what I would do is just practice. Steady hits. So I'm gonna make sure I hit all 6 strings. Okay? Okay, so you got it on there. And then all 6 strings. Okay, and then once you're comfortable, then apply it to a chord. So E minor, here we go. Okay. What are the advantages of using a pick versus just your fingers? Well, in my opinion, the pick is very hands-off. I mean, once you start playing guitar with a pick, you don't really have to think much. It just does the work for you, you know? Right? Whereas if you use your fingers, you have to be more mindful. This would be more like, you know, wearing gloves and washing dishes. Whereas if you just use your fingers, you're just washing dishes with just your bare hands. When I play guitar with my fingers, it's a lot more intimate. You know, just having that flesh, having contact with the strings. I don't know, something about it just makes you feel good. Whereas if I'm just using a pick, it's more... It's a nice sound. You notice it's a lot sharper, a lot brighter, but there's no contact with the skin, you know, that I have with the fingers. So if you're doing a performance, if you're playing a song, you'll notice that when you're singing, I want you to know I can't let you go. It's a lot more intimate All right, so you can really dig deep into your fans or your audience. Whereas if you're playing with just a pick, it's a lot more, there's a bridge, there's a wall between us. You notice, right? And you notice that when you start playing with a pick, you're competing with the guitar now in terms of volume. This was a mistake that I learned a long time ago when I started playing guitar and singing at the same time. I had one person tell me that I can't hear you sing, Justin, because your guitar is too loud. If you want to sing and play guitar, I recommend using your fingers more. I want you to know. You can control the volume more with the guitar if you're using your fingers. Whereas if you're using a pick, it's a lot harder to control that volume. So you will either have to sing louder than you're used to, if it's an intimate song, for example, or you're going to have to play a lot softer with the pick, which is kind of hard, in my opinion. If you're a beginner, it's really hard to control that volume with a pick versus just your fingers. Whereas you just use the meat of your thumb or index to make it softer. See there? So both of them are two distinct sounds, they're two distinct characters, and I recommend practicing both and applying them both into your performance because they are great contrast. Okay, so again. Practice this and practice this. Another advantage to playing with the pick is you notice that it's just straightforward. It goes down, and you go down and up. It's a consistent sound, okay? Whereas if I were to do this with my fingers, you'll notice that there's two different sounds. One sound is going downwards, where my fingernail is touching the string, like that. And when I come up, the meaty part of my finger causes the upstroke, which makes it a lot softer. So, hear that, versus, right? So, this is more consistent. Check, check, where this is like checkbook, 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 checkbook. Very different sounds. Obviously, when you're finger picking, I can control and manipulate more strings at the same time. Whereas with pick, I'm at a disadvantage. I can only go so far with just one pick. So I can't hit 3 strings at the same time with this pick. I have to go individually. So I can try to mimic it. But as you can tell, it doesn't sound the same, right? So you gotta be a little bit more coordinated, more precise, more surgical. Right? So you're probably gonna have to struggle when it comes to finger picking with a pick, whereas if you just use your fingers, it's a lot easier, in my opinion. So there are advantages and disadvantages to the pick versus the non-pick, just the fingers. So, and also you'll notice that I got a classical guitar and I got an acoustic guitar because I wanted you to hear the differences. So, in my opinion, if you have an acoustic guitar, you got steel strings, that's when using a pick really comes out. It really shines. But if you're using a classical guitar with a pick, you notice that there's not much difference actually. Because you're dealing with nylon strings and using a pick doesn't really... That's pick and this is no pick. There's not much difference. There's no night and day difference, in my opinion. So if you are using a classical guitar like me, I recommend just going no pick. And just dig deep with your fingers. Just get your hands dirty. Get your hands in there. It's a lot more fun, in my opinion. So I hope this video has helped, and remember to practice 10,000 times. Pick and no pick. In your arsenal, it's good to have both. Okay, so I recommend that you practice both, pick and no pick. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and subscribe to this YouTube channel where I will make more guitar videos for you beginners and wannabe learners out there. And please check out my Patreon channel and buy me a coffee. That would be much appreciated since I am fucking broke. I could use some cash injections right now. Okay, take care. I love you. Bye.